The only reason I joined the RCMP is because I love dogs and I wanted to be a dog handler.
Everybody's there because they want to be there, and the dogs that they're with are high-drive dogs that certainly want to be there and certainly want to perform. It's just a recipe for success all the way around.
Our expectations are that you will do your best and you'll do it consistently. Because when you get called out to go find that kid who's lost in the national park, you can't quit. You have to keep going.
All for the love of the guy, eh? It's all about bond, eh? Guys have a good bond with the dogs will really work hard for them, eh? That's all they want to do is just please.
When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back, because there's no assignment too tough for the K9 Mounties. The Mountie in his dress uniform is one of Canada's most distinctive and iconic images. It's a living link to the past, when the Northwest Mounted Police patrolled the West on horseback and the North on dog sled. Those dogs were more than transportation. Their instincts and their loyalty made them a valuable part of law enforcement. Even in this technological age, there's still no substitute for the sensitive nose and determination of a dog. It's almost impossible to overestimate the role that the canine police dogs play in the RCMP. From finding missing people to sniffing out drugs and explosives. The dog's special talents and their natural desire to bond with human beings makes them invaluable. There are about 140 general duty teams in the K9 unit. Each dog is a product of selective breeding and careful training. The K9 unit is a very specialized one. Every year, only 12 constables are chosen to take the course. And to get there, they've gone through a selection process that takes 5 or 6 years. They come here to the RCMP's training facility at Innisfil, Alberta, a town that's just south of Red Deer.
When I got into the RCMP, I knew that the police dog service was the section that I wanted to get into. And I was willing to do and work towards that career regardless of how long it would be, whether it be 5 years, 10 years. I was willing to put that time in.
Officers like Dan Block, who want to be part of the K9 unit, start by training a series of pups in their home division, putting them through an RCMP program called imprinting.
This course involves basic understanding of how to take care of a dog, but take care of the dog in a different way from a family pet. The dog that we're going to give them, we want them to raise that dog to become a police dog. There's some subtle differences that we ask for that they undertake with this dog to ensure that he receives and develops the behaviors that we're looking for in a police dog.
The imprinting program is designed to help the dogs build their focus and their confidence by exposing them to as many situations as possible.
The dog also is required to do a lot of things that a family pet doesn't do. So once you get that dog that we give you, a person that's interested in the section, you have to spend a lot of times taking the dog to places that police dogs might have to go. Easy example is an airport dog. A lot of family dogs will never go walk around an airport, where a police dog is trained for explosives especially, will go there on a regular basis, up and down escalators, around lots of people, screaming jets in the background and all that kind of thing. So we ask them to expose these dogs to those type of environments.
At any given time, about 100 constables across the country are working in their home division doing the imprinting training. They'll do this for 5 or 6 years before they're even considered for K9 unit. Out of the 100 constables, only up to 12 a year are chosen to move up to become dog handlers.
It's a long road for a puppy imprinter to become a dog handler, and it's a very committed goal for them. Because often what happens is that the puppy imprinters, for example, they might have to raise 6 puppies by the time they're even eligible to become a dog handler.
We're looking for guys that can work on their own, that are problem solvers, and that are able to handle High pressure situations, they're top performers. If they're suitable, then they get selected to come on a course.
How many of you here are married? Your life has changed because, right, you've got the dog in the environment right now. You've had the dog in the environment for what, 2, 3, 4 years? So that has a significant impact on what's going on in your family. It has a significant impact on where you're going on vacation. But you work your life around the dog, right? Whether that's right or wrong, that's what you do. But without this, just generally as human beings, we're not going to do well.
I think the part that's not well known is that when you're not working with your dog and you're not on shift, in many areas across the country, you're actually on call because you're the only dog handler for large pieces of geography across the country. And a lot of units depend on you. So you're on call. And when that's not happening, that dog and that vehicle are living with your family. So it's not just about a professional commitment, it's also a family commitment to police dog services.
Okay, so one.
Out of the hundreds who apply, only 12 constables are selected each year to take the training course that will make them dog handlers. Now, they'll find whether they can fulfill their dream, whether they have the right stuff to master the 85-day, 3-level intensive course. Since the RCMP's K9 program was established in 1935, the preferred breed has been the German Shepherd. They're natural hunters, and they're smart, loyal, even-tempered, and courageous. They're physically perfect for the challenges of the job in a country where the temperatures range from hot and humid in the summer to brutally cold in the winter. And they're powerful, with significant bite power, making them perfect for catching the bad guys. But not just any German Shepherd makes a good police dog. So in 1999, the RCMP set up a breeding program, using a combination of hand-raising and science to create the perfect canine Mountie.
From all the dogs that could have become a police dog, probably 1 in 3 of the pups that we breed will become a police dog. And that's just because of the package that we're looking for in a police dog, to be able to do the tracking, to do the searching, to do the criminal apprehension, to have the confidence to back up the dog handler, and be civil enough to walk into a classroom if the dog handler's going in to do a school talk. You know, that dog's just got to have solid nerves and be a confident dog.
A police dog will serve an average of 7 years before being retired. And so every year, the RCMP needs about 35 replacement dogs, trained and ready to go. Special dogs require special breeding, and for that, the RCMP turns to its friendly Alberta neighbors. There's a community of brood keepers not far from the Innisfil kennels. These dog-loving foster families take on the responsibility of looking after the female dogs until they come into heat, like Sue and John Charles.
Our job is basically to give them exercise, and they give us exercise too, and love and care, and watch them very carefully for any illnesses or irregularities that they might have.
We've learned to know when they're ready to breed, and then we let the RCMP know right away.
When the female comes into heat, we bring the dog in here and we do some daily blood tests on that dog. And when she's ready to be bred, we go through our selection process of which male we're going to mate her to.
Now the science part of the equation takes over. The vets match the female with the male to give the pups the right genetic mix. But there's no romantic candlelight dinner meeting for the male and female. The RCMP has a frozen sperm bank.
When we got involved in the program a number of years ago, we're wondering what's the best way to move a breeding program forward. And I think all the other species have documented that when we get involved with frozen semen, we can make huge strides genetic-wise. We have the semen here that if we find that now we have some extremely good genetics, we have access to it. Whereas in using the natural way, that dog may no longer be fertile. And so we've lost all that genetics, you see what I'm saying? And certainly it allows us to pick and choose which dogs we want to use. A fascinating thing is that obviously with the RCMP, all their dogs are spread across Canada. So if we had one dog that we wanted to use today on a female that's here, rather than bringing the dog back each time and not being able to work and so on, by having the frozen genetics here, we get to use it. That's okay. What we'd like to do is do ultrasounds around day 28 to 30. That allows us to see whether the dog is pregnant, as well as to get a bit of an idea in terms of the size of the litter. My first impression here is that we do have some puppies. There's a puppy there, a puppy there. We can see at least 5 puppies on this one. We know that they all have good heartbeats. And so I think everything looks great. We'll document in the file that we have, at this point in time, we have at least 5 puppies. We'll then monitor that in terms of when we do an x-ray then at just before whelping to confirm that we have maintained that pregnancy. Oh yes, you're very good. You're very good.
Once the pregnancy is confirmed, the dog goes back to her foster parents, who will care for her until the last 20 days before whelping.
Good girl. Good girl. Stay.
From the moment they're born, the puppies are under the watchful eye of the vet services. Before they're 2 weeks old, they're already being groomed and prepared for the canine unit.
Starting at day 10, we'll start the early neurological stimulation, and then we will put them on their back. We'll put them upside down a bit, and then we'll also put them upward, and then that will, and we do that for 5-second count. Then we also do stimulation in between the toes to get them used to us handling their feet. And then we will also start a body massage at day 10. At 2 weeks old, we start taking them out of the whelping box, and we will put them on the floor with articles on the floor to see how they interact. There's several different surfaces that we give them. And there's socks, there's rag toys, there's balls, and there's different scented gloves. And we want to see how they interact and how inquisitive they are at that point.
At the end of each day, the kennel staff keeps a careful record of the progress of each of the pups. If they see any problems, they'll work on that the next day. At every stage, the dogs are exposed to more new stimuli, so that the staff can see which of the pups has the right personality to be a police dog.
Blow up a paper bag and you pow and make as loud a noise as you can with the paper bag, and you see how the dog reacts. That's the first one of the tests. So if the dog runs over the corner and pees, chances are it's not going to make a great police dog, but it's just one of the eight or nine different tests that we do. So then after the bag is broken, if the dog comes and wants to examine what made the noise, then that's a good thing. So then you take the bag and you throw it, and the next thing is to see if the dog will go and retrieve. Retrieval is basically a lot of what our training is based on. They have to have a high drive instinct, and they have to have that retrieval instinct.
The Mounties are looking for alpha qualities, behaviors that indicate intensity, focus, high drive, and dominant personality. Their ideal dog is brave, confident, and a quick learner. A big part of the work of the canine units involves tracking. So as soon as he can, RCMP kennel staffer Kerry Russell gets those little puppies outside. His goal is to start them early at developing their noses.
Asphalt, gravel, there's flower beds, there's shavings beds, all sorts of different scents that we can expose these puppies to, let alone the tall grass, or some areas are difficult to get through where they have to fight and learn to climb through the bushes.
He's teaching the pups another valuable lesson: how to follow the leader in spite of distractions. He takes them on a walk near a busy, noisy highway, and the goal is to make sure they stay focused on him.
I would be surprised that these puppies are in their little computer brain on scents are probably 60 to 80 different scents that they will already know, as opposed to other pups at this age, which people normally would raise, might only know 5 or 6 different scents. So their tertiary memory is wow. For puppies, if we all could understand that for each month the puppy grows is equal to 1 year of the human child. So when these puppies are leaving here at 8 weeks of age, that's like a 2-year-old child. And I don't ever overestimate a pup where you might fail. I always make it so they are a winner. That builds their confidence and their boldness and so on. So again, when these puppies leave here and they know all these obstacles, their whole world is open to them. They know it all just about.
The 4-footed members of the RCMP's elite canine team are a product of selective breeding and a training program that begins when they're just 8 weeks old. Not all the puppies will make it through, But the ones that do are smart, confident, well socialized, and exposed to stimuli way beyond what a family pet will ever have to deal with. It's all part of creating the perfect police dog.
A dog that has a certain level of independence, a certain level of confidence in himself, and outward dominance that's there to a certain extent, and that just requires different things.
And as for the human member of the canine team, constables who want to be considered for the unit spend about 5 years in the field working with dogs.
I actually got to do a track after I hit about 2 years into the force with a dog handler. And after doing the track, I just fell in love with the dogs and what they could do and all that sort of stuff. I was always around dogs growing up, but once I saw a dog that could actually track and work, it's what I wanted to do.
We're trying to find the best people for the job. The thing is I don't want to string anybody along either. I don't want to have anybody raise dogs for us just for the fun of or for because we need it done. I want to have people who truly want to be here. There's 1,000 people that have checked off that they want to be a dog handler. But I mean, there's only 140 of you in the whole country.
Only 12 constables are chosen every year to take the course. They're brought to Innisfil, Alberta to take an intensive 3-level, 85-day training course.
So there's 4 or 5 days of lectures at the start of the course where a lot of theory is presented to them and they have to grasp it relatively quickly. And then in that second week, or sometimes in the afternoons even in the first week, they're starting to get some basics of the actual handling of a dog, some tracking, some obedience, and some criminal apprehension that they start taking part in.
Ready to go search?
It's a lot very quickly that they have to learn because you can't afford to make a lot of mistakes with the dog in his training. It has to progress steadily, consistently to get to the end of level 1.
The trainers here, they want you to succeed. So if you're a learner and you're here to keep your mouth shut and your ears open and take what they're giving you, I think you'll be successful.
Now it's the real thing, right? And a lot of people are curious as to how it all works. Some people think as though there's a little bit of magic involved, but really working a dog is just a lot of hard work, love and patience and all that kind of stuff.
Over and over again, the constables will be reminded that the most important thing is the quality of the relationship they have with their dogs.
This comes out in different ways in the literature. It comes out as patience, comes out as the ability, what do you think, the ability to read the dog. It also comes out as being genuine. Have that genuine interest in the animal and how the animal's doing, how the animal feels, how to be able to read that animal, right? And that's something that Dave's going to work with you on right through from now till the time you're done. You got to be able to know what that dog's thinking to some degree. What you need to understand is our expectations are that you will do your best and you'll do it consistently. Because when you get called out to go find that kid who's lost in the national park, you can't quit. You have to keep going. So we're happy to have you, and I think you're all pretty happy to be here. So basically just go do your best.
After only 4 days in the classroom learning theory, it's out to the field for what they've been waiting for. Let the training begin. Of the hundreds that apply, only 12 constables a year are selected to come to Innisfil, Alberta to learn how to become a member of the RCMP's elite canine unit. And now, those chosen few are heading out into the fields to learn how it's done. The RCMP constables are having to assimilate a lot of information at once. Not only are they learning the ins and outs of the job of being a dog handler, but they're also learning how to train their dog on the job.
The start, basically what we have here, it's just a scent pad. When we're first starting the dogs off, that's why we have a nice little scent pad, scent is pulled. So what the guys will do is they'll bring the dog out, they'll harness the dog right on the scent pad, snap on the long line, and give the command there for the dog to track.
Before handlers and dogs set out on their initial run, a handler is assigned to lay down a clear, easy-to-follow scent by scuffing the ground. This will be repeated as the dogs and handlers get used to it. The dogs are being taught to follow a scent trail. The constables are learning what might be the most important lesson, to simultaneously use your judgment and to follow the mantra of the canine section, trust your dog.
You're taught not to really guess where the track is going to go because that could lead you astray. I mean, you just got to read your dog's body movements and his indications, and he's the one that's going to give you where the track is going to go.
This is the essence of level 1, tracking. The biggest lesson, holding the long line with confidence and reading your dog's signals so that it can follow the scent trail to find the object of the search.
I mean, for you to guess where it's going to go, it could get you in a lot of trouble, or you know, stray you off the track. You're probably going to haul the dog off because you believe it's there, but the dog knows exactly where it is. And you've just got to believe in him.
Line's too loose. That's why he's all over the place.
The dogs are in the handler's confidence, so we're slowly eliminating the scuffing. We're going to get to the point where there'll be no scuffing at all.
So good job, and just this last little bit.
Trust the dog.
Trust the dog.
When you wait 5 years to do something, no matter how tired you are, you know, you just got to pull through it. Training's 85 days if everything goes well, and you just hope everything goes well.
Next time on Canine Mounties.
Like I said, it's only day 5. I don't know, maybe day 45. The guys may be starting to get tired of me there too, but so far so good. So.
Training requires repetition day after day. Passing level 1 means increasing skills from dogs and handlers alike. And the most vital skill for the handlers to develop is the ability to trust your dog. When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back, because there's no assignment too tough for the Canine Mounties. The dogs of the Canine Mountie unit are important to law enforcement. They can sniff out explosives, find a missing person, hunt down a suspected criminal. But not just any dog will do. These purebred German Shepherds are the product of selective breeding and are specially trained. The constables who become dog handlers in the canine unit are part of a very elite team. There are only 140 canine units across the country. Every year, only up to 12 top-notch constables are chosen to become dog handlers. They come to the RCMP Training Center at Innisfail, Alberta, to take an intense 3-level, 85-day program with a steep learning curve. After a month at Innisfail, the constables have reached the critical point in their training. This is the end of level 1, and in 2 days they'll be tested. If they fail, their dreams of being a member of the canine unit, something they've worked years for, are over. Just like that.
If you can succeed at level 1, if you've trained properly in the level 1 level, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be able to succeed at level 2 or level 3. It means you've brought your dog up to that level. He's now performing to that standard, and the other levels should be relatively routine after that. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure at the level 1 for sure.
This year, there are 8 constables in level 1, and they're divided up between 2 trainers. Trainer Dave Silvestri leads a team that includes Jesse and Tyro, Sean and Ty, Curtis and Timo, Craig and Torque.
Each dog is different, in terms of the amount of attention you use. That's where you're coming in and know your dog. The guys, after doing X amount of tracks, the guys say, you know what, this is where I need to be.
Trainer Jackson Nash's team includes Dan and Tony, Dion and Tito, Rod and Tar, Sean and Turbo.
It's just a matter of just advancing just a couple of feet from the last circle, and you'll hit it. Good job.
The level 1 test will see whether the constables have mastered the basics of tracking. One of the handlers is assigned to run through the field in a random zigzag way, leaving a scent trail. The constables and their dogs have to find the trail and have to track it to its end point. The trainers are drilling the constables to make sure they have the fundamentals down cold.
Just crawl up a bit, a little too far back on the line.
The handlers have a big job to do. These are working dogs, bred for intelligence, trained to be confident. Whether that breeding will pay off will depend on how good these officers are at developing the dog's police skills.
Keep coming. Boom, there it is. Coming back to it. Circle. Bring it right back. Here you go. Let them get into it. Here you go.
Training and handling a police dog is nothing like training the family pet. Even something as simple as how the handler uses the leash, or in this case the long line, to direct the dog, has to be perfect. With the test looming, both Dave and Jackson drill their trainee handlers repeatedly until they get it right.
It's just not holding on to the line and praying to God I get to the end of it. That's that's a terminology you have to work your dog. It's not a jerky, sudden thing. I always use the analogy of fishing. If you're out there, it's all from here. When you have that line tension, right, this is where you kind of want it, and you feel that? Yeah. And you want it to be out here. If you're holding it like this, you go to check him, where are you gonna go? Nowhere, okay? Now when he's relocating, this is what you're doing, okay? That's what you want. You feel that? And have it out here.
Line's too loose. That's why he's all over the place.
And he's kind of doing that, and you want to keep him tracked sure. That's all you're doing. You see him start to veer there a little bit, okay?
The skills on the long line are a key part of guiding the dog in the single most important level 1 basic, tracking. This is where the handler and the dog need to really be tuned into each other.
Slow him down just a tad.
It's a bit like a tango, as the handler both guides and responds to the dog's signals.
Let him get established, and away we go. If this is your line here, right, and the dog falls off, so when he falls off and you bring him back over the track, his confirmation is the head snap that he's on the track.
Yeah, you got to believe in the dog. He's going to give it to you. You just got to believe where he's going, and you can confirm by your line tension. And when you circle, as soon as he gives you the snap of the head, he knows that he's on the track, as opposed to him just looking around for it.
Just remember here, okay? When we come up to the hay bale, that's a distraction to him because he's visual, right? His head is up, he knows he's not tracking. What do? We say, fui that, Sue. Okay, tell him Sue, back to work. Okay, good.
Just a nice job of you overall of circling him and handling him and reading his track losses and all that good stuff. The article, first time out, hey, he thinks he's at the end of the track. Took him a little bit to get back to work, but he figured it out, and right here, boom, he caught on pretty quick, eh? Yeah, we found it, let's go.
Actually, that was one of the best indicators I've ever seen out of him, eh? His head whipped and his body whipped around, he's like, oh, something's down there.
Beautiful. So good job, and just this last little bit?
Trust the dog.
Trust the dog. Over time that develops. The bond develops between the dog and the handler. The handler gains confidence in the dog, and keep your eye on your fries.
Hi! One command, because one day your life might depend on it and his life might depend on it.
That's about 40 kilograms of purebred German Shepherd lunging at that arm. When you're tracking down a bad guy, this is very, very effective. The Mounties call this bite work.
It's basically what we call this is a running attack, very elementary. There's really not too much control in the beginning. He's either lifted off the arm, or we use a reward to induce the dog to come off the arm. Just beside him, nice. When you feel he's calm, once he's out, send him.
Hey, come on!
And once he does send him, I want you to come alive, proper presentation, nice fight on the arm, okay?
As the constables finish up level 1, they practice a basic skill that they'll be doing more work with in level 2. Bite work is part of training the dogs in controlled aggression.
Good boy. He was kind of a little bit more responsive, eh? Because as soon as you grabbed him and lifted him, he came out, right? Yeah. So, and that's the whole thing too. With your timing when you're doing that, go in there, ready? Out, be ready to anticipate, out, and let him know, like, it's not, you're asking him, you're telling him, right? It's a command. Okay. Out! He's focused on his bad guy. That's what we're looking for. Now we got to throw the control into him.
Out! Oh, good boy! Atta boy! Atta boy, Darryl, good play. Hey, next.
One day soon, these dogs will be working police dogs. But at about 16 months, they're still part puppy. Running, jumping, biting is fun for them. But like any puppy, they have to learn their sit-stay commands.
Curtis.
Stay.
Feel free to reward when you want to.
Attaboy, Tyrell, good dog. Attaboy.
Another skill. The dogs have to be trained to trust the constables completely and obey instantly, even if they're led into unfamiliar territory. For level 1, this is practiced on a teeter-totter.
He's lined up good, just continue right on into the next one. Better, very nice. A lot better than yesterday.
Time's up. Level 1 training is over. Tomorrow is the test day. Trainer Dave Silvestri thinks all 8 of the trainee handlers are doing well, and he has confidence in them as they face their biggest challenge so far.
The guys are picking up pretty quick here on reading their dogs and knowing their dogs. So they're figuring out too, where should I be on at specific times during the track in regards to their line. They're reading their dogs very well.
The Level 1 test is a make it or break it for the constables in the K9 course. It marks 30 days since the course began. Now the trainers need to see that the constables are grasping the demands of the K9 unit.
There's a lot of pressure put on them, absolutely, by us. There has been for that 30 days. And I quite frankly don't think we want to get away from that pressure and stress of the test day because it's similar to what they're going to encounter in the field.
So they're a little apprehensive, it's a little nerve-wracking, but that's what it's all about. You got to be able to handle pressure situations, and if you can't handle being tested, then maybe you shouldn't be working the dog in the first place.
Sergeant Tom Smith is testing Dave Silvestri's team.
We're just looking for the intensity, how hard he looks for the track, his nose down if he's heads up gawking around.
Level 1 is about the most important basic skill, tracking. All of the skills the constables have been learning and teaching their dogs over the last month comes together when they're following a scent trail. And that's what they'll be tested on today. For the first time since they've arrived at Innisfail, the constables have to perform on their own, without the support and advice of their trainers. With everything resting on this test, can the constables put their nerves aside?
Stay calm, relaxed. Just, remember your basics of circling, line tension. The dog is going to give you the track. You've just got to know how to read his indications as to where he's going to go.
It's like anything else. Once you get going, you sort of forget about the things around you, more or less. You're trying just to keep your head up to see where possibly the track will go. And the dog's sort of pulling you through, and so I'm trying to watch as much as possible what the dog's doing.
A month of intense work has come down to this. The testers are looking to see how well the constable trainees are able to guide their dogs as they track a scent trail in a wide open field. Any one of a number of distractions, from animal smells to wind direction, could throw the dogs off. 3 of the constables in the first group pass.
Nice and solid, very good negatives, good track relocations with that guy, and yeah, he's a nice tracking dog.
But during Constable Sean Cleary's test, the wind blew up and his dog Ty lost the scent. Whether it was nerves or just bad luck, Sean couldn't get Ty back on the track.
Not much to say. Dog worked well. A few handler mistakes in terms of the circling and the wind.
He never cut the track when he circled it, so he was all circling away from it. And when he finally did cut the track, off he went.
You went out, you did a half circle,
Yeah.
came back, and then another half circle the other way.
Back, yeah.
So just try and remember to complete one circle.
Okay.
If you get nothing, then open it up.
It's getting to know your dog and getting to read him and stuff like that, yeah.
Live and learn. We'll try again tomorrow. So that's about it. All right, Ty.
They were more nervous today than they were yesterday. These guys seemed a little more apprehensive. The level 1 test is truly their first attempt at succeeding at something with that dog.
The test comes after the first month of training, a month spent learning the basics of scent tracking. This is the most crucial test they'll face. They get 2 chances to do the level 1 test. And if they fail, they're out of the K9 unit. Constable Dan Block joined the RCMP specifically to work in the K9 unit, and he's feeling the pressure.
The first time you've ever been tested in, the police dog atmosphere, and you don't know what to expect. you know you can do it because you've done it up to that point, and they wouldn't be testing you if they didn't think you were capable.
Dan and his dog Tony are part of the final 4 to be tested. One of the major challenges in tracking is managing the environment. If the wind changes direction, the dog can lose the scent, and the constable has to use his skills to help the dog get back on the track. Unfortunately, Dan ran into this problem during his test.
And then the wind blew him off down here, and that's a handler mistake. He didn't take into account the wind direction to bring the dog back up the track, and he ended up way off in the corner of the field here. So whether he ever would have come back on his own, who knows, but sooner or later you got to step in and take the training of the dog into account.
And that's probably the biggest thing that we preach to these guys is, you know, where your wind is all the time. He's going to give it to you. He's not going to lie to you. Trust him, and don't hold him back so much.
He'll start and take the lead role.
Right.
So I have to be quick, and so I know what I have to do.
Think of him as a metal detector. You know, he's out there working that track. He's a tool for you. As he gets tired, you got to get a little bit softer in the hand. We'll do a redo.
That's just not the standard. We got to go out and help him out, then we got to start over again. So we'll try it again tomorrow.
2 of the trainees didn't pass their level 1 test today. Sean and his dog Ty, and Dan and Tony both had a rough day. But the trainers believe both Sean and Dan are solid handlers who simply succumb to nerves. So tomorrow, they'll do the test again. But the 2 constables know that if they don't pull it together, their hopes of being on the K9 team are over.
Even the trainers knew that we had better tracks in us, and with our pride, we wouldn't have been happy if they passed us on that, because we know that we've done better and we can do better.
You get 1 retest, and if you're unsuccessful at the retest, unfortunately, we're going to put you on the plane and send you home.
Dan Block joined the force to be a K9 handler. Failing yesterday's test was a blow. Today's redo is his last chance to reach his dream.
The dog's proven up to that point he's the brains of this operation, and you should just trust in your dog, and that's all part of it.
We give the retest for the simple reason that we understand and have been around long enough that we are working with dogs. Something can go wrong on any given day. It's not a machine that you expect to work every time, so we allow that retest in the event that something has gone wrong.
You know, I know what to do for the retest. You know, just go out there and have fun and relax.
There's not a person in this at this facility that doesn't want these people to succeed.
Today, Dan and Tony are on the money. They passed their level 1 test, and they're going to move on to level 2.
Very nice, very nice. Whew, good job. Just a few things though, okay? Every time you get into a little bit of trouble and you're circling, you're locked in. I know you're locked in, but look for a little bit of a slack in your line there, a little bit loose line, and a little bit softer hands, and yeah, very nice.
Much better.
Okay, more relaxed today.
Yeah, all my mindset was to have fun.
Now, what do you think happened along that tree line there?
Dog's tired, low scent, then he got it.
The news is also good for Sean and his dog Ty. Sean aced his level 1 test.
Your track was really good too. Your dog worked really well. A little bit animal at the start, but you worked through it, just moved her past it, and once she got on the track, she never quit. So good job, everybody. Start back on level 2 tomorrow.
But good job, guys. Made me proud.
Thank you, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
There's always agility. That's a downfall of many a dog's. Alrighty.
Get that sense of accomplishment because you passed, but in the back of your mind too, you're also a little frustrated, thinking, why didn't I do that the first time? Because you knew you could do it. You just had to prove that you could.
Really good, but I'm very fortunate. She's a very strong tracker, and we've had a good team so far. I'm reading her well, and she's telling me exactly where to go.
Things happen for a reason, and you learn from that, because you learn to relax and you learn to work as a team.
I love you, buddy. I love you, Tony.
It's been a pressure cooker environment, and deliberately so. Once they've passed the course and go into the field, The handlers and the dogs will work in dangerous situations with no supervision, and the choices they make could mean life or death.
Really good day. Congratulations on your level 1. Good job. Well done. Put your dogs away and come and get me when you guys are done.
It's been a very intense month for the constables. They've had to take themselves and their dogs from talented potential to focused trackers who work as a team.
It's starting to become a really good, solid team, and it's not the dog fighting with the handler in terms of them trying to work with each other. A work of art, you would say. It's a really nice fluid motion, the way the handler is working with this dog. Show me your magic.
All 8 of the constables are moving up to level 2. But for the last day at level 1, the dogs and the handlers get some time to let loose and have fun. At the same time, they're practicing obedience training, and the dogs are working those lightning speed reflexes.
Come. Sit. Sit. Down.
I really think this is going to be my diamond in the rough right here.
Billy Tyrone. Oh, it's nice to be done.
Yeah, it's great. You know, there's new stuff in level 2, so new challenges, it's good. And we're getting close to being half done, so that's nice.
It was a good day.
Dogs pulled us through.
Now, it's on to level 2 and a whole new set of challenges as the K9 team moves from a rural to an urban environment.
What we're looking for is a dog that has a good hunt drive. He wants to get to the end of that track, that he's not distracted, he's technically sound, he's nose down, involved in the track, he's methodical, he's hunting, he's trying to find what's at the end of that track.
Hey, gonna go do some tracking, find a bad guy? Hey, we're gonna go find a bad guy?
Level 2 track, you're gonna have some hard surface, gravel, some pavement, and grass. So these dogs have got to deal with traffic, humans, that type of thing as distractions. Just get him by it. Circle into the fence. Circle into the fence. That's okay. Get her by it. Boom. Good stuff. Get her going. Hi there. Yeah, it's just a different environment of tracking into it, and it's something that the dogs are required to do. This is what a majority of the work what the guys are going to be doing. They're going to be in town doing tracks when they're out and operationally. So the dogs have got to get used to working in this environment.
Next time on K9 Mounties, the danger level of training ramps up as the handlers and their dogs begin to search out weapons and explosives. When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back, because there's no assignment too tough for the K9 Mounties. Anyone who joins the RCMP hoping to become a member of the elite K9 unit has to go through a long selection process. And then there's an intensive 3-level, 85-day course standing between them and their dream. The first big challenge comes after 30 days. The Level 1 test is a make-or-break challenge that weeds out anyone who hasn't mastered the basics. This year's 8 constables all passed, and now they're on to Level 2, where they're going to have to put those skills to use in increasingly tension-filled situations.
During Level 2, we're leaving the rural and the country environment where they've done much longer tracks, and we're starting to expose the dog to things they're going to encounter in town. But we stick to a suburban area. We're in industrial areas or very lightly populated areas, doing tracks there where they're going to start to encounter family cats, family dogs, all that kind of stuff that might be out for a walk, or they're starting to experience other people that are out and about. So they're going to have to track in and around all these distractions.
To get the dogs and the trainee handlers used to the new environment, they start with the familiar level 1 basic skill, tracking. That's when they have to find and follow a scent trail to its end. They've learned their basic tracking skills in a country field, and it's evident on this first day of level 2, the move to the city is sensory overload for the dogs and the handlers.
I saw some footprints there, and so I'm like, okay, it's a 45 going higher to the house. And so then I just started, I wasn't even watching him, I was trying to cross it on
He's
that.
tracking, he's doing a great job, and you pulled him right off. And I'm going, what the hell? And of course, you bring him to the cross track, and he never gives it to you, and he brings you back to the track again. So just because there's footprints all over, be aware, there's all kinds of people walking around here.
Well, the funny thing, once I did that, I'm like, I can't follow these. You know?
Okay.
But he gave me that road crossing too. That's why I didn't do that little circle, because he was going.
Well, that's it. You know what? And have some faith in him. You know what? You come off the road or whatever, and he gives you that 2 to 3 feet off the grass. His indications, are excellent. Good stuff. Ah, yeah, that's a nice indication. Good stuff.
Trainer Alex Mann reminds his handlers that a new environment means they really have to be sharp to help guide their dog.
When you came along the brown fence and it came over to the high grass and down, the wind's blowing this way. So when you came across, he's here. And then he went into the high grass, and when you came out, and then this is getting blown this way on you, and then you went this way and there was nothing. So right away, that's when you start thinking, oh, the wind's coming this way. I gotta get over here, because I know this was sort of true for all of you guys. That's when you go, okay, which way's the wind going? My dog, we crossed the street. He gave it to me right across the street. We came across, and I went this way, and there's nothing. He went that way because it was pushing that way a little bit, and then he gave you that negative, and that's when I told you a bigger circle. Make a big circle here, Rod. So just remember that when you're in the, not for here, when you're in the field, that you come across, man, my dog gave it to me the whole way, and oh, which way is the wind blowing? Then cut back up into the wind, eh? But when you're out in these big open spots, as you found out in level 1, which is supposed to be the easiest level, you're out in the middle of a quarter section, and you lose it out there, then you have to really start thinking.
Then you start panicking.
You panic, and then you lose track of where you were, and before you know it, you're way over here, and actually the wind blew the track down here, and it's going that way. So.
Tracking in a city environment is much tougher because there's more going on. More people, more animals, more traffic. And as they move into level 2's more demanding work, the handlers have to get used to this, and fast.
Good stuff, Curtis. Nice. Trust your dog, trust your dog, trust your dog. Pick him up!
It's a new environment, but still a simple search. The handler and dog have followed the trail and found their man, and the dog gets the arm guard as a trophy. But searching and tracking in the city isn't just about finding the right things. With so many different smells, surfaces, and noises, it's also about learning how to ignore the wrong things.
Really good track. The only thing, he was a little looky-loo. Every time you come around, yeah, is he there? Yeah, is he there? Yeah, is he there? But you know what? After he gets a few in him, then after a while, they just get through it. And the rest of it's great. Like, he doesn't take you anywhere. Good stuff, Curtis. Nice loose line here. There you go. So it's just being in the environment, eh? So now you notice a difference between him, being gawky, like what's behind that, as opposed to this indication right here, eh? Like there's no hell, that's, we're going. As opposed to, oh, what's that? Oh, not a big deal. Okay, off we go. 11 o'clock, what do we want to do? Let's do some aggression.
Come on back here, bad guy.
Controlled aggression is a keystone of canine training.
Come on in. Come back in here, bad guy.
As the handlers progress in the course, the basics they learned in level 1 have to become sharper. And commands delivered and obeyed instantly. As the demands increase, obedience is critically important. The trainers have to be able to get their dogs to stop on command. Right now, it's just a game, but one day, this basic skill could save a life.
Off of me! Oh! Oh! Out! Out!
I think you got to be like a bull in a china shop a little bit when you come out. Tony, down, stay, and get verbal.
Okay.
Don't whisper and not hag.
Okay.
Okay. Hag. Send him, and that's all he has to know.
Yeah.
Okay. He said hag, and I know my drill.
Come back in. Stay, Tyro. Hey!
2 weeks ago, we're building them up, want to bite, and then all of a sudden now we're cutting back. So they go, ooh.
Hey! Out! Heel! Heel! Out! Tyro! Out! Heel! Hello, boy!
Okay, that's good.
Attaboy.
Remember, just to get in there, get in his line of vision.
Yeah, that's too far away.
Yeah, you're not in there. Don't be afraid to get in. Make sure you're in his line of vision.
Hey! Oh boy, Timo!
Get in that line of vision.
boy.
That's it.
Timo, out! Heel! No!
That's
out,
it.
heel. Good boy.
Yes.
Sit. Attaboy, dog!
They're training the dog to react instantly when a command is reversed.
Hey! Out! Heel! Heel!
Yeah.
Attaboy, boy, back. Sit.
Hey, do one with the line off completely. Halfway between you and home plate.
Hey! Out! Heel! Heel!
Yeah. Put your dog away. Good job.
They have to train for action at all times of the day or night. The constables spend their evenings doing tracking near a busy highway at night.
Tracking at night can be, from the dog's perspective, right away, can be shadows. Simply handling the dog at night when it's dark and maybe you're carrying a flashlight in your other hand, so you now have the leash and the flashlight, and you have to get used to that. Headlights on cars.
Sean Cleary has been running night tracking skills with his dog Ty since they got into the city. Tonight's is the most extensive and complicated night track so far.
It's just a different environment, and you turn the lights out anywhere, it looks different, so it's different for the dogs and the handlers, and they have to get used to that.
Once again, the handlers and dogs are tracking a scent trail that takes them from fields over a busy highway to an industrial area.
Very sneaky. Good girl. Thanks, Doug. That was really good. Very good effort.
Thank
you. Know, she works her tail off. She's like a missile. She goes 800 miles an hour, and she never misses a beat.
No, she's really good.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. And you handle her very, very well. Other than she's so fast, I'd be tripping over her. You know, she makes such she makes such short, quick turns and everything else, but she's deadly accurate. Very nice. Good job.
Thanks very much, Sarge. I appreciate it. That was
okay.
That was a good track.
Very nice.
Those hills going down. Oh, I thought I was a
It was
goner.
one of those ones that made you say,
Oh yeah, when I'm going down and she's pulling, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a tumble.
As Level 2 training progresses, the handlers and their dogs are introduced to one of the most important services that the K9 unit provides to law enforcement: sniffing out weapons and explosives. Today, it's finding handguns.
Basically, I only fire one gun off, and then I fire it into the container with the other 8 guns. And it's just so saturated with gunpowder. While we're training, I might put 2 very close together. I just might put 1 out there on that thing. It's not always a set number. The main thing we want to see the guys do here is pattern their dog.
And the key to teaching these dogs a new skill? Repetition. Once trained, the dog's sharp nose can pick up a whiff of gunpowder from about 100 meters away. That's about the length of a football field.
Boom, go over there, go over there.
Dog! Hey! Attaboy, that's a good searching dog!
For more than a month, the K9 handlers and their dogs have been learning their tracking skills outside. But now they're moving inside to apply those skills in a completely foreign and potentially dangerous environment. Trainers Doug Hawks and Dave Silvestri are taking their teams into an area full of new smells and new sensations.
Dog learns to build up his courage to go into these buildings.
And that's what we want to see. There's no hesitation whatsoever on these dogs going in and apprehending, the bad guys.
To prepare, one of the handlers is designated to hide somewhere in the warehouse so the dogs can search him out by his scent.
We're simulating a break and enter of a business at night, and we've been asked to come in here and make sure nobody else is in here. A lot more sense for us to come and clear a building than it does for the general duty policeman to come and do it. It's a lot easier and quicker for the dog to do it. They're after anything with human scent within this building right now. That's what they're taught to do. Exposing a dog to slippery floors and dark buildings, you've got cardboard around, you've got pieces of equipment all over the place, so the dog has to feel comfortable working in this environment. So this is why we add a little bit of aggression to the scenario also, to make him feel a little bit more comfortable.
Before the dogs go in, the handlers get them fired up.
Okay, he realizes, oh, I'm gonna have some fun in here.
Looking for the dog to respond to back. The dog searches, and the dog makes contact. Alrighty.
Next up?
Next up.
Get this guy. The police! Come on, I'll send in the dog! The police! Come on, I'll send in the dog!
And what he's taught to do is indicate that human scent of somebody being in here, okay? He knows we're already here. Keep running him down this side here, Dan. See any indication there, Dan? Okay. He's giving you an indication right around in here, so narrow that down.
Where's that guy? Hey, where's he at?
Where's he at, Tony?
Huh? Get that guy. Where is he?
Get him out of there.
Where's that guy? Hey, what's he doing in there? Hey, that guy! Oh! Get out of there!
That boy, good dog. Okay, let him rebite, let him rebite. That boy, good dog.
Out! Good out! Good out!
Oh,
And that's what we want to see. We want to see the dog search on his own, and we want to see the dog follow direction.
We're looking at our fourth search, is it? Yeah. Okay. So you're seeing different confidence level in the dogs. Roddy's dog there, he comes in there and he's just hunting. Tito, he's hunting. But not to the extent what Rod's dog is at yet. And Dan, your dog's volunteering himself, but he's not quite there that he's feeling like I'm gonna go in there, but that'll come. And all it is repetition and feeling more and more comfortable in the building.
That's exactly what you want him out there ranging. And what, you come in here, okay, you figure out your area. Okay, boom, you're in here, doesn't bang him off. Now let's start getting into these nooks and crannies. Start covering off stuff. Eliminate this, come in here, eliminate it, move on.
There you go, atta boy.
That's it, let's go. All right, let's go. Keep him moving. Get him in this stuff in here.
At this stage of training, unpredictable factors can still throw the dogs off.
All right, dog treat.
Timo came down, and he stopped and he looked at the wall there, to the right of where, probably right where Jess was, and then he moved on.
Now, what was going on? Those fans up there, those were fans up there that, so all that air is moving. And I don't know if you noticed when you're in that, you know how he kept coming through at the same spot, down in that same area? So what he's doing, he's in there, it's really heavy. So boom, and his demeanor picked up. And then once you kind of left, came back down. And then once you were coming back in, all of a sudden it was like, holy, it's on again, eh? And it was just him trying to figure things out.
Get off!
That's it.
From night searches to gunpowder, next, explosives. The lessons and the danger factors ramp up. The canine trainees are into the meat of Level 2, teaching their dogs to find explosives and weapons.
We'll do a quick revolver search. Yeah, 5 minutes, come back in. Just a nice little search. Off your line, and off you go.
What do you got, big guy? What do you got? Get it out of there. That dog, get it out of there. Come on, bud. Get that out of there. You want some help? Huh? Get it out of there, bud. Get it out of there. That boy, Tyrone. What a dog.
All right, good stuff. Back to the truck. Stay here. Treat it like an alley, drop the line, and off you go. Look at that.
Where is it? Where is it?
There you go.
Where is it? Get it out of there.
Okay, that's great.
Get it out of there.
Great
Where's
down.
the thing? Where's the thing? Get it out of there. Get it out.
Dogs' noses are about 40,000 times more sensitive than humans. Not even the smell from a skunk can throw a dog off the scent. And one of their most important skills in the canine team, they can be trained to smell a range of explosives. A well-trained dog's nose can be the only thing standing between a tragedy averted and absolute disaster.
These dogs have to be able to detect odors, different types of explosive odors, and give a sick confirmation on it.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to do an intro for DM12 for the three of you guys, and do an intro for Semtex A for your guy.
The police dogs have been incredibly successful at finding explosives like Semtex, which is a plastic explosive, developed to be odorless. But not for these dogs. When they detect the odor, they alert their handler by sitting immediately.
And the handler's got to be able to read the dog and understand what the dog is telling him. Is the dog into odor? Is he showing an interest in garbage, for example?
Okay, just give him a little break and then point to your area and let's get going. Sit. Okay?
Huh? What's this? Huh? Tell me what? Huh? What's this? Huh? What's it? Huh? Where is it? Huh? Where is it?
Search. Good try.
Sit.
Good dog. After the reward's done like that, we'll move it, put it away, and we'll get him on the wall. Okay? So do the wall. Bang, bang, bang. As soon as he puts his nose in there, bang.
The wall is a training tool that turns sniffing out explosives into a game of search and reward.
Good boy. Good dog.
And again, keep your speed up. Boom, 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 boom. If he doesn't give it to you, back around. But just make sure your speed's there. Don't slow up and create a false sit.
What's this? Huh? What's this? Huh? What's this? Huh? What's this?
Do the search. And it's in this one here, the middle one.
We want scent recognition and develop a sit. So show them that, and the wall is very good for that, so they're focused on the thing. Once they kind of get the hang of that, bring them into this, so they're used to being into buildings. And right here, the hides aren't overly too hard, but we just want to see some scent recognition and a sit, and go from there.
Good boy, Tyrone. What a dog.
All he's doing there, he's hitting on it and he's trying to pursue in. So you know what? So, we know they're known. Just keep your hand there, Okay.
Boy, Tyrone.
Until then, that'll help him figure it out there. Good stuff.
Next time on Canine Mounties, the training wheels start to come off. Those sensitive noses and sharp commands are put to the test as the handlers guide their dogs, sniff out hidden explosives, and hunt down armed suspects in simulations without the guidance of their trainers. When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back. Because there's no assignment too tough for the canine Mounties. The RCMP Canine Unit is one of the most respected in the world. It's an elite unit. Only 8 constables are being trained this year to be handlers. They're in the midst of an intensive 85-day, 3-level course. Now the learning curve is getting steeper and more demanding. And for good reason. They've moved from basic tracking to night tracking, and from following a human scent to searching for weapons. At each level, what they're doing is increasingly dangerous. And it's about to get even more so.
Today we're going to put out the Sentex A and H, some C4, some Deta Prime, and some DM12.
One of the most important services that the canine units provide is explosive detection. The police dog's superlative sense of smell can detect even the more recently developed plastic explosives, designed to be almost odorless. The dogs do so much scent work that the handlers have to learn to instinctively know whether their dogs are distracted or have found something serious.
So the handler's got to be able to know the difference between when a dog is just showing a general interest in whatever it may be, as opposed to the dog's indicated now he's pursuing into odor. And that's the whole process of training. Some are better trackers than others. Some are like the aggression work more, the criminal apprehension work. Some are better searchers. And sometimes it's what it boils down to is the dog understanding what you want him to do.
Explosives have been hidden in this empty locker room, no distractions, so the dogs can be taught to find the explosive and sit.
When he does it on his own, then you can reward him, okay? And once the dog realizes, oh, this odor, you want him to sit. Okay, now I have it. And then you're off to the races. Okay, good boy. No, reel him around. That's it. Okay, here. Just take him out there. Let's do this. I'm gonna have a good sniff.
Sit. Good dog.
All right, let's do it again. Okay, that's where you got to reinforce that sit there. Sometimes it takes some dogs a little bit longer to catch on. Some dogs are better at catching on or quicker than others. But but by the time they leave here, they all meet our standards. Every single dog does. If they can't meet our standards, then the dog does not leave here. Get him on top too. See if he'll search while he's walking on this. Work the crack between the, yeah, do that.
The level 3 portion of the explosives searching training is still relatively mechanical. You know, the fellas are still fine-tuning the ability to handle the dog, and the dog is still fine-tuning his sequence of reactions that we want, indicating the odor, pursuing to the source, and then confirming it without, or sitting to confirm it without aggressing the hide.
From the drills in the empty locker room where there are no distractions, the training moves to a maintenance aircraft hangar where there are hundreds of places to hide the explosives and lots of different smells to potentially distract the dogs.
I want you to keep moving a little bit more, Jess. And if you're coming up to something, really quick, okay? Just off we go, okay? No.
So not a whole bunch of direct and without direct every now.
No. If you're bringing them along this area, right? And he's searching,
yeah,
that's great. Just walk with him. Every now and then, just boom, like you're coming down an area and he's kind of doing this. Just hey, just watch him, watch him.
Stay. Atta boy, Taro, atta dog.
Better. Yeah, keep moving. Keep your feet moving. That's it. Just keep going. Remember that? Call him back. Ooh. What's he paying attention to? That's it. That's it. Keep him going. Keep him going. Just keep him going. Beautiful. Good stuff, Curtis.
The handlers are in a crowded warehouse, learning how to lead their dogs on a search for hidden explosives.
The other thing I would do is that you get in that area, you start to see that general interest. You see them. The minute you know you're seeing it all the time, because the minute you see it, you do that. Okay? So you get away from that, just keep moving around the dog so he's not keying on. Because if you're coming along searching and all of a sudden you become frozen and then he's gonna, it must be here. But if you keep gently moving around him, keep that kind of a flow going in his little world. But the minute you see the indication right away, because that's what Dave's saying, you go like that. And you're keying, like he now thinks that's part of the picture. Yeah. You know, Dad has to point at it, then I sit, then I get the ball, okay?
It's starting to be clear that some dogs are more natural at explosive work than others, and some dogs are more focused learners.
This guy is a mature dog. You can see how he behaves compared to some of the other guys. Good dog! You're not going to go too far wrong with this guy, I don't think, you know?
Good searcher.
The next day, the handlers and their dogs start an important new exercise. Scenario work puts it all together. They're going to run simulations of the kinds of tracking and searches they'll be doing when they get back into the field.
Okay, yeah. 2 white males, 40 years of age, and dressed in dark clothing. Shots were fired. The purpose of the scenario work is to develop these guys to give them an idea of what they're going to be doing out in the field.
No weapons been located?
Nothing, no. Guys haven't been going down the alley, like you said, the perimeter's out there, and they feel that they may have a guy contained somewhere in the backyard here.
This goes on with our scenarios too. We leave them hanging there. They have to ask the right questions when they roll up to the supposed scene in our training scenario, so they at least have some idea about what or who they're going to encounter at the end of this track.
In this scenario, the K9 units are called out to help search for armed suspects that is already underway by the local RCMP officers, referred to in the exercise as the members. The suspects are armed, and the search is going on in a residential neighborhood.
White males wearing dark clothing came in, held up the clerk, shot him. Okay. Members were Johnny on the scene. Witness seen one guy running down the alley this way. Okay. Now, witness, since the members came up here, they had another witness, same witness saw another guy running this way.
Okay.
Have a lot of dogs barking and stuff like that. Members feel that they may have one guy trapped down in here.
Down there.
Okay.
And nothing down here.
Nothing down here, just a direction of travel. It gives us a good indication of the individual themselves. Yes, you're very good in training, but if we put you in a scenario type situation, you fail at that, or you can't handle that, or you can't perform, then that's also an opportunity for us to decide whether or not the individual is suitable to go back out onto the road with this dog.
You're never going to know exactly what's at the end of the track, but the best thing to do is preparation. The handler has to be cautious at the start of the track to assess the risks that he's going to face, gather as much information he can. If they neglect to ask those questions in the training scenario, we let it play out. The best way to learn is through our mistakes, I think, sometimes. So we let it play out, and then they'll never make that mistake again.
They're not going to have the trainer beside them going, be careful, watch it, look at that, watch that. Now it just gives them that confidence, that stuff that, yeah, I can take my dog by myself and go perform a task that's required of me and my dog.
In this scenario, Constable Sean Cleary and his dog Ty have successfully apprehended their suspect.
Don't send that dog on me anymore.
Stay.
I got a gun on my hip.
You got a gun on your hip? Which side?
This one right here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Those other members will take you into custody.
But they're not out of the woods. They have to be alert and anticipate danger at every step.
Your arm okay?
Killing me.
Killing you? You okay there?
Oh, it's killing me.
What's going on? Oh, geez, oh, look at that. Boom, you just shot us. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Let's get back to, you gotta go back to your scene, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's not just about what the dogs can do. The handlers have to learn how to immobilize their suspect until help arrives.
Because sometimes you are gonna be alone.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to search these guys.
Okay.
You know, like I said, and like we talked about, I know it's a scenario thing, all that good stuff. Make sure they're handcuffed before you out your dog.
Okay.
Do a really good search. When you're dealing with an alert team, your purpose, because this is a high risk thing, your purpose is you're bringing that team or those guys to that guy. You brought them there. Now they're dealing with them.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But I want you guys too to get into that habit, because sometimes you are going to be alone.
Okay.
And you're going to have to deal with your dog. You're going to have to deal with the bad guy.
Okay.
So secure the bad guy, then have a good search with him.
The handlers and their dogs are out on the street chasing down suspects that they believe are armed and dangerous. Right now, it's scenario work, simulations of what they'll be doing in the field. They're being put in positions that they'll encounter when they're back on active duty, and learning the kind of tools they'll need to capture their suspect without getting themselves or their dogs injured, or worse.
Come on out!
And there's a lot to learn.
You in the red too, come from around the corner. Stop, we're going to send the dog.
Don't be afraid to eliminate the backyard.
Come out from there, the tree. Hey, come out.
That dog out of here.
Come out. We're going to send the dog
Get
on
that
you.
dog. I'm scared of dogs.
I got the dog. Come out. Let's show me your hands.
Scared of dogs.
Show me your hands. Saw him peeking over the hedge there, and he, again, wasn't listening, wasn't coming out. I couldn't see his hands, so sent the dog in again.
Yeah.
Hang him up! Get that guy! Stay on the ground! Stop fighting my dog! Turn! Out! Down! Down! Stay!
Not in play.
Stay! Just walk out of the backyard.
This next scenario represents an extremely dangerous situation. Known armed robbery or AR suspects could be inside this house. How do they get them out without instigating a shootout?
Let's get position here. So come here. Come with me. So position yourself, you two members in the backyard here.
Yeah.
Out of sight. How are we going to find out who's in that house? So let's set yourself up there, big guy. What can we do here in terms of what we have available to us? What can you get dispatch to do for you? Maybe run an address check?
Oh yeah, run all those.
Okay. System comes back to you. ARs. You got a guy sitting in the house here with history of ARs. Possibly, right?
Yeah.
So how are we going to get a hold of this guy in the house?
Call.
Make a phone call? Okay. So set up, right? You want to get tactically set up? So you got all your backup here, there, teams here, everybody's set up on the house, and now you're setting up, right?
In this simulation, an unexpected development. The suspect sneaks out of the house to hide his gun.
So ask him to give himself up.
Yeah.
Stop there, I'll send the dog! Stop or I'll send the dog!
Hang him up! Hang him up! Hang that guy up! Get that guy! Hang that guy up! That a boy! What are you doing? I'm just taking out the garbage. That a boy.
You match the description of an AR suspect.
What are you talking about, AR what?
I gave you the warning, I sent the dog. Tony, out!
Down. Down.
Okay.
Stay.
You got two guys here?
Yeah.
Two, right? Okay, good. Watch your dog. Watch your dog go.
He's searching here.
He's searching, but watch your bad guy, right?
Oh,
So get to,
well, Ert's on the guy.
okay. Well, what do you want to do?
I want to take this guy into custody, then
Okay.
once he's gone, I'll search the yard for what he was up to.
Okay, we'll search this guy down. He's good. He's out of the picture now. We're taking him into custody. What else are you going to do here?
Well, now I would search to see what was going on back here. And work the track back to search for more evidence.
Hey, what you got there? Hey, what you got? What you got there? Hey, what you got? Hey, good boy.
It's scenario work, but this is the kind of danger the K-9 unit will face in the field. Suspects with guns who are not afraid to use them. Every mistake they make in training is one they hope they'll never make in the field.
Now, the only thing I would have liked to seen you do, he comes out. Did you see the gun in his hand? Okay. So what he does is he comes out, he's got that gun in his hand, and he's doing one of these. I would have liked to see, you know what, maybe he's getting rid of the gun, puts it down, nice and quiet, coming back to the house, boom, take him off. Because basically right there, he had that gun in his hand. When you sent your dog, boom, boom. So, you know what? Shh, don't be in a big panic to get that guy. Watch what he's doing.
In the snowy back alleys of Red Deer, Alberta, the K-9 handlers and their dogs are being trained how to track down suspects who may be armed and dangerous.
Both suspects seen heading eastbound.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, for this scenario, can I start it at the door? Or is it...
No, start it at the fence. Last scene going over the fence, so let's start it there.
The trainers are running Constable Curtis Shaw and his dog Timo through an exercise with an unexpected twist. It's an ambush, and they're waiting to see what Curtis will do in the split second that he has to react before it turns deadly.
All right, guy, drop that gun, buddy. Drop that gun. There we go. Good boy, Timo.
Okay. Good stuff. Watch his arms, watch his arms. He's handcuffed? Okay, good. Out your dog.
You got him?
Yeah. Get a hold of it. Oh, nice. Okay, good. Okay, search is good.
Got the gun?
You got the gun?
In that scenario, Curtis hesitated when he very abruptly found himself face to face with the armed suspect. His dilemma: if he sent his dog Timo in, the suspect could have shot and killed the dog. But in that moment of hesitation, he could have been killed.
I set it up like it was an ambush. This guy's engaged you now, eh? Yeah. My gut reaction right now is not to even draw down the guy. Hang That's what you're gonna do. In attack, because you know what?
You're compromised.
What you're doing, you're compromised. You're providing yourself some time to get out of there, get hidden or whatever you're doing.
And you're not allowing him to get that second thought about, am I going to do this or not?
The dog is, okay, maybe the dog's going to get it, but you're not going to get it.
But you know what? Nobody wants to see that happen, right?
Yeah.
But I'd much rather have Curtis Shaw come back and retrain as opposed to going up to your door and knocking on your door.
The knock on the door is the call all police family dread, the one that says your husband or your wife is not coming home. And in a real-life situation, that moment of hesitation would have cost Curtis his life.
Yeah, you know, you're out in no man's land, eh? Caught between a rock and a hard place. Your gut feeling, go with it.
Well, that was it. That was my gut feeling. I thought, oh crap, I'm going to sacrifice my dog.
Common sense.
What do I do? I sacrifice myself.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Hey, good stuff, Curtis.
They continue the armed robber scenario into the nighttime. When it's dark, you can see why the obedience drills are so important.
Be careful.
Everyone's lives could be in serious jeopardy if the dog isn't focused and responding instantly to commands. But the constable has to be alert too.
Good stuff. Keep it going. That's it.
Dog! Get on the ground! Not on boy! Go! Get your hands behind your back! You're on your rust! Not on boy, Carl! That's good.
Okay, you handcuff him?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay, deal with your dog.
Heel! Darryl! Heel!
Are you satisfied that you're done here, basically, after you've walked your track back?
I see.
Are you satisfied that you're done with you've dealt with the two guys? 3 suspects, caught 2 guys.
No.
Okay, no, why?
There could be someone else. There could be a getaway vehicle or anything like that, or someone
Okay,
else
so what are you going to do?
See if there's any more tracks that I can cut.
Okay,
back
and
along the
what
start
would
there.
that also tell you?
That there was no one else involved.
And what does that tell you about these two guys right here?
That they're the ones that did it.
Okay. So the purpose of eliminating tracks leaving this area does what?
That they did it and they didn't have anyone else around them.
The scenario work teaches the handlers a lot of important things, but what becomes very clear is that the split-second decisions they will make in the line of duty will put the lives of their dogs in danger. And to be an effective canine handler, they have to come to terms with that.
Hey!
Next time on Canine Mounties, trainer Dave Silvestri gets a new look, and the canine unit face their most serious challenge yet: uncovering explosives on site at a public airport. When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back, because there's no assignment too tough for the Canine Mounties. One of the most important jobs that the canine unit does is sniff out explosives.
What the dogs can do in minutes would take people hours, if at all, to humanly do.
And so for the last month of the training,
Beautiful.
the focus is on teaching the dogs and their handlers how to detect explosives.
The dogs are incredibly good at what they do, incredibly efficient, and their success rate is incredibly high. You cannot get that comfort from a hand search done by human beings, because people search for what they can see, dogs search for what they can smell.
It's the final 3 weeks. The 8 constables and their dogs are going to move out of the classroom. They'll do intense explosives detection training at the Calgary and Edmonton airports.
And we use the airports because it simulates so many different environments that you can get all in one place. So we take them there, give them that intense 3 weeks, which is their last stressful experience at the training center when they're training explosives dogs before they head out into the real world.
These dogs have to be able to detect different types of explosive odors and give a sick confirmation on it when they've located that. And the handler's got to be able to read the dog and understand what the dog is telling them.
Unattended baggage will be
This on-site exercise takes full advantage of being in a large, confined space with a variety of different areas, some restricted, some open to the public. During airport training, explosives are planted in luggage, on planes, in terminal and cargo areas, in parked cars, and hotel rooms. The trainers plant explosives all over the airport. For the handlers, this is an important time. The work they're doing will bring together all the skills they've learned in the 85-day course, and it's the last time to practice it under the watchful eye of their trainers.
It's an important part of it because the fellas are still fine-tuning the ability to handle the dog, and the dog is still fine-tuning his sequence of reactions that we want, indicating the odor, pursuing to the source, and then confirming it without, or sitting to confirm it without aggressing the hide.
Is it right up under there?
Well, what's he telling you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't move things.
Okay.
Okay? Because you don't know if there's a bomb hooked up to it or anything else like that. Get away from it. It's just like aggressing a hide. If things are there, go around it.
You have to be at the top of your game when you're searching for explosives. So you have to be confident, and that's the whole purpose of the on-site. Through repetition, that the guys learn how to work and pattern their dogs to cover off whatever their search area may be, to be thorough enough and confident enough, and your dog to say, I've searched this area, there's nothing here, let's move on.
Are you done your search?
It goes up to the shoulder, not into the shoulder?
Yeah, that's as far as it goes.
Okay, then I'm done.
Good. So you got to make sure that you, when you're detailing, get them in the ends of those pipes and stuff like that. This one was a concealed one, you know, magnifrac, tucked inside that box. Okay, so it's inside. They all hit it really, really well.
So the dogs, when they're working, they have to be able to handle distractions. You have to kind of eliminate or forget about what's going on around them and focus on the task at hand.
Yeah, keep your pace up was one thing. The other thing, you make sure in your mind that it's there. Just make sure, because he's like this. He's on every one of those hides. He's already going back into the sit confirmation. That's exactly what we want. All we wanted is to finish it up.
On this one, as soon as I took him away, he's low.
Back, it's here.
It's here,
Yeah.
right there, and then he kind of.
The dog has been trained to sit instantly when it detects an explosive, and then it gets a reward.
Sit.
Tar's response here is too tentative, so Rod has to reinforce the rules.
Reinforce the sit, eh?
Sit.
No reward until Tar completes the sit.
Hey, that's a boy. Come on, buddy.
It takes a toll on you. It's stressful, especially when you're dealing with explosives. It's more serious, and a lot of people's lives are on the line, and you want to do well, but yeah, it's just a lot of pressure.
Training at these major airports is the first time the constables are coming face to face with the weight of the responsibility they'll have when they're doing this work for real. After months of training and simulated searches, the canine handlers and their dogs are doing their final 3 weeks in 2 busy airports, Calgary and Edmonton. The focus is on finding explosives. They're learning how to search through everything, from hotel rooms to the aircraft, and what might be the most stressful of all of them, in waiting rooms and luggage carousels, working around the traveling public.
What we'll do today with him is that we'll cut you loose in the airport, and you're just going to go have fun. You're going to get him up on different things. You're going to get him paws up, different things like that. Just, okay? Perfect. So reinforce, stay. Reinforce the sit. Okay? The dog indicates it. Pop, right there. Sit. Okay.
This is where the early agility training comes into play. The dogs are put on a new surface, the conveyor belt, and are confronted with moving luggage and lots of smells, and are expected to focus.
Atta boy! Atta good dog, you!
Searching luggage is a whole new chapter in explosives training. This is where the handler's technique as he guides his dog is as important as his ability to read his dog's signals.
See, Dad, I think what's happening here is that we're slowing down a little bit too much and too much detail. Okay? Remember, these things are only 3 feet away from each other, okay? So, and you got air moving all throughout here. So, right, you don't know where it's moving from. So keep that speed up. Don't get into sit. Okay, don't get into that, okay? It's to the hide, boom, sit. That was a deadly indication right there. Bang. That's it.
Good boy. Good dog.
Inside the terminal's public area, the dogs and handlers face more distractions, including working with the traveling public, who are not expecting to find themselves on the other end of a wet nose. In the class, when the trainers planted the explosives, it's pretty easy to figure out what the dog is doing. But a busy airport, as Constable Dion Sutton is learning, those signals aren't always crystal clear.
It didn't indicate on anything else. He showed interest over there, but he never gave me a sit. He was looking for me to give him something, but he only gave me one with the bag there. And that's the only thing he indicated on, that, from my perspective.
So what are you saying?
Well, it's not clear. Obviously, we found something, but he didn't indicate on anything else. I can't say if explosives are here or not from anything else, but he didn't indicate on anything besides that bag.
And you're done? You completed your search?
I have.
Okay.
As they work in an airport surrounded by people, the point is driven home. This is serious work with serious consequences. People's lives count on how well they do their jobs.
Who knows what can happen? So it's as live as you're going to get. So, and who knows? Like anything could have happened. So it adds an extra little bit of stress, and you have your validators as well, and you know it's a test. So it's a lot of things going on in your head.
In the stress of working in the busy airport, some of the handlers are forgetting their basics, like leash work.
If you want them to change directions, change your direction with the snap. But don't get into this pull.
Just get them going, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
The very end there, after you found that first hide, your pace picked up, and it was perfect. It was better. And breathe.
Oh,
it's hot.
You relax a little bit, he's going to relax.
Yeah.
They like it or not, I'm a firm believer of it. It travels down the line. Hey, attaboy, you know, good dog, let's go search over here.
Even a confident handler like Dion is rattled in this new situation and feels a bit off his game.
It is tough. It's more pressure because the general public is there. You don't know how the general public is going to react when a dog goes over and sniffs their bag or is close to their seat.
Just you and your dog working together, having fun is what you got to try and block everybody out if the people make you nervous or whatever it is. But just have fun, and if your voice reflects the fact that you're having fun, it travels down the line to him, and you're working that much better together. And you actually start having fun doing it, because what's the big deal? Yeah. You know, just do your thing.
Good speed. Where we're getting into a little bit of a problem is that we're letting them allow them to linger a little bit, and over by the pop machines and stuff like that. Okay, you got food, you got different things all over, you know, different interests and stuff. Move on. I can always move back, come back to it.
Yeah, if I keep it my speed don't linger, it's a lot easier.
He went to this lady's purse right here.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. Yeah. We don't want him to get on the people and expect him to jump up and lick her face. But if you say no, he's going to stop going to people's purses or bags or stuff, which for all we know might have the bomb in it, right?
It's up to the K9 teams to check everything, especially obvious high potential areas like garbage cans, planters, baggage. The K9 units are spending the last 3 weeks of their course doing explosives training work at the Calgary and Edmonton airports. They've been in the terminal. Now, for the first time, they're going into an aircraft.
Searching an aircraft, if you think about it, it can be very similar to searching a vehicle, climbing on seats. It can be very similar to searching a bus. And of course, they have to be able to search aircraft should they ever be required to do so on a bomb threat or an airport or whatever it might be.
But planes are an unnatural environment for a dog. Tight spaces, row upon row of seats, armrests, and overhead bins. A bomb could be hidden in all sorts of awkward places.
Back. Tony. Okay, just practice getting them up and getting them down. Getting them up, getting them down, okay? It's all it is patterning, getting them up there, okay?
Not all the dogs are immediately at ease with the cramped, unfamiliar surroundings. It can take repeated commands and rewards to get the dogs to the comfort level they need.
Good boy, Tony. That's good. That's good for today. That's 150 times better. Oh boy, good dog.
They'll come back to this, but now it's back to the terminal for more work. This time they'll be tested with what's called a negative search.
You just have to go to each search, doing the best they can, trying to locate anything or nothing. There's the one search we do, and they don't know it, where there's no explosives hides at all out there. But they don't know that. They're searching, thinking they're going to find something, and by the 15 or 20 minute mark, the sweat beads are pouring down their head because they haven't found anything and they're worried about it. But that's the real world.
A negative search is nerve-wracking. If they sweep an area and the dog does not indicate, then they have to make the decision that there are no explosives there and move on. But are they confident enough in the way they've trained their dogs to be sure?
It's stressful because part of the validation, there is a negative search, so when you search, there's absolutely nothing there. However, you don't know which site it can be. So you're in and you're searching and searching and you're sweating your butt off, and the dog is not giving you anything, but you're thinking for the dog, and you're like, it has to be here.
And when you're doing the explosive searching, you're always finding stuff. And when you first are presented with a negative search where there's no hides, but you still have to clear the area, it's definitely, you know, something that you have to. It's more of a mind game than it is. It's more mental than physical, for sure. You're working, and you know, you clear your area, and you're out, and you're looking at it, thinking, did I clear everything? Because the dog hasn't indicated anything, and knowing and just having that confidence to say, we've cleared this area. The dog is not indicating any presence of explosives.
What'd you find? Okay.
There was
so were you
one
thinking
head snap over here that he kind of gave me, and I took him back, and then I had nothing, so I moved her off.
So what did you think?
About halfway through, I'm thinking, I wonder if this is negative.
But that's the real world. They will have to conclude a search, possibly, and let's be honest, in Canada, we're lucky. The odds of having to encounter that kind of thing are still not that great, but they're the ones at the end that are going to have to sit there and say, my dog searched, he didn't indicate anything.
We showed interest around the center of the chairs here. Okay. But other than that, there wasn't really anything where he's flagging. Like, he's working hard, but nothing showed me that, like, where he's indicating that he's excited that he's getting older.
What are you going to tell your validator? My dog was unable to find anything? Yeah. Good.
It's a simple judgment call with incredible responsibility. When do constables decide that they can declare an area clean and safe? It takes confidence in themselves and in their dog.
If it's not there, you can't make your dog make it appear. Like, you just have to believe that you've searched and understand that you've covered your area, you've put the dog in every area possible, and to know when to say, okay, enough's enough, there's nothing here. My dog's not indicating any presence of explosives.
Are you starting to sweat?
Was I?
Yeah.
I was starting to. Especially when in here he was showing me some interest, so I brought him down to the center of it, and I'm thinking, oh. And when I started getting more into there, and he's got nothing in here and there, right. Probably a negative search.
And if he's not indicating whether it be a track, an article, or or explosives, it's knowing that if it's there, he's going to indicate it. If it's not there, there's going to be no indication. And I have 100% faith in my dog. So when he's not showing me something, I believe him.
It's down to the final few days of training for this year's class of the K9 team. They've spent the last 3 weeks on site at 2 busy airports, practicing searching and sniffing out explosives. Up until now, they've been guided by their trainers. But now the trainers take a step back and watch to make sure that the handlers and their dogs are ready to graduate. And the trainers' last piece of advice? The same as the first piece of advice they gave the constables at the start of the course 6 months ago.
You have to trust your dog, trust your training. It's, again, what we remind them. Trust your dog and trust your training. Just go out and do your thing.
It's at this point that all bets are off, and the trainers do their best to throw some things at the dogs and handlers to really test their confidence level.
I have a few tricks up my sleeve that I like to do with the guys, and the whole purpose of that is to learn to trust your dog. You know, just don't try to overread the situation. Just read your dog and pay attention to what he's telling you.
For this exercise, plastic explosives are hidden in a banana peel. Timo has to sniff out an almost odorless explosive wrapped in a very fragrant peel. And how will Curtis react when his dog indicates a banana?
All it is just a big hunk of Semtex.
Oh, jeez. When he sat on it, that was weird. I can see him eating the banana, but when he sits.
Yeah, boy. Certainly it's human nature to have doubt in something. But from my experience, and even my experience working dogs myself, being out there in the field, and when you're questioning a dog, are we here? Is this the right thing? Sure enough, 10 out of 10 times, the dog was right.
Through the levels of training, like, you're introducing different odors of explosives. And the dog's proven that he recognizes the hide, or he's scent recognition, and he's going to indicate it. There's not so much pressure anymore because the dog has proven over numerous days and hundreds of hides that he's capable of doing it.
I think you're doing a great job if towards the end of training you're there as basically as an observer as opposed to a teacher, and that's what's the nice thing to see.
He was a little apprehensive at first, but with his drive and all that, once he realized he was searching, once he realized that there could be an explosive substance on the plane, he quickly overcame whatever nervousness he had. Again, we were in so many different planes and so many different areas that he got used to planes right away.
When I just sit back and allow the dog room to work and not crowd him and be able to watch and read his reactions, you're going to do nothing but succeed.
In the final 3 weeks, working in busy airports, the constant practicing, repetition, and guidance from their trainers came together. The handlers progressed from tentative students to confident handlers.
Well, that's what it's all about. That's what you want to see. You want to see these guys, by the time they leave here, they have the confidence that they're on top of the world and nothing will faze them.
Once they've graduated, the K9 units become part of the explosive profile in Canada. Called out to serve as part of the Prime Minister's detail, or for major events like the Vancouver Olympics or the G20, and when VIPs and royalty visit. And they become part of one of the most admired units in law enforcement. Every year, agencies from around the world come to Innisfail, Alberta to check in with the RCMP K9 team, to study their techniques and best practices, from breeding to training. It's been a long road for the handlers. 5 years in the field working with dogs before they're hand-picked for K9 training. 85 days, some in the classroom, most in the field. 3 weeks of special on-site explosives detection. An intense journey every step of the way. This graduation day is very sweet. Next time on K9 Mounties, we'll check in with 3 of the K9 teams who have been working in their home turf, where the training never stops. When Canada's Royal Canadian Mounted Police Force wants to find lost people, catch criminals, and uncover explosives, they call on an elite squad of Mounties. Highly trained assets with agile bodies, powerful jaws, and incredibly sharp noses. The training and selection process are rigorous and demanding. And those who ultimately make the cut never look back, because there's no assignment too tough for the K9 Mounties. The RCMP's K9 unit is one of the most respected in the world, and the Mounties maintain those standards by selecting only a handful of candidates each year to train for the elite K9 team. A constable who wants to be part of the unit will spend 5 or 6 years in the field working with specially bred German Shepherd pups before they're considered. They not only have to show an aptitude for working with dogs, but they have to be top flight constables themselves. And once they're chosen, they're put through an intensive 3-level course where they have to learn how to train their dogs while they're learning the ins and outs of their new job.
When they're leaving here training, they've worked so hard. It's not just the training process that they spent the last 4 or 5 months here training. It took them 6 years to get to that point where they're working.
The course isn't just for the constables. The dogs have to show they have the right temperament. Police dogs are intelligent, focused, and determined. When they graduate, their title becomes PSD for Police Service Dog, and they really are true partners for their handlers. In the field, the dogs live with their handlers, but do not become part of the family. The dogs live in separate kennels outside of the house.
Let's go to work, buddy.
When the course is finished, each of the teams is reassigned to a location that's in need of a K9 unit.
My name is Corporal Dan Block. I'm with the RCMP Police Dog Service. My police dog is Tony. Police Dog Service was the section that I wanted to get into, and I was willing to do and work towards that career regardless of how long it would be, whether it be 5 years, 10 years. I was willing to put that time in. Well, it's funny when if I'm just taking out to start my shift and loading him up in the truck, he knows the difference between going to work and then going to a call. If we're going to a call, he can't relax in the vehicle. He'll start whining, barking. He seems to be very in tune with what's going on around him. If we're just going to work and just starting a shift or out for a run, he'll be relaxed in the back and just waits for the door to open so we can go out and run.
Dan and Tony patrol the area around high-level Alberta, about 800 kilometers north of Edmonton. They're the first dog team that's ever been assigned to the area.
Being the first dog handler that's been in this region, the experience the members have had working with police dog services is very limited, if they have any. It's very minimal. So one of the hurdles I found when I first arrived was the whole education of what the police dogs can do, how they work, and what we require to be successful. And that is a total team effort. It's not just the dog handler and his dog. It's the dog handler, his dog, and the detachment members that assist with this success. Our dogs, they have that never give up attitude. We teach them that. If they're sent to apprehend, they're in that fight, and they won't quit. One of the transitions from training to the real world is, in the real world, you don't know what that person's intention is when you find them, and what they may try to do to evade you.
As the only canine unit in the area, Dan and Tony are on call 24/7. The local RCMP detachment will bring them in, for instance, when they need to track a suspect.
Police dog work in general, it's not a proactive policing approach to things. We're in most cases reactive. We're called after the fact, after the crime's occurred.
Control, there's no one else in the vehicle.
In this scenario, a local member of the RCMP detachment is chasing a suspect in a stolen car.
Again, control, call PDS, please.
High level, 11071 Friday.
The officer needs help tracking and radios in for Dan and Tony, the police dog service.
Okay, you last seen running?
Last I saw he was running, yeah. I saw him from a distance, not at the end of the road, though.
Okay, and the car has come back stolen now?
Yeah, we ran the car's plate, comes back stolen out of Edmonton.
Okay, car's clear?
Car's clear, no one else around.
Just one subject?
Just one.
Okay.
The nature of the work we do, there's only 20 feet difference between where the dog is and you are at the other end of the line, and you have that 20 feet to react when your dog gets to the end of the track.
Good boy, get that guy out of there.
Show me your hands or I won't send the dog.
No, listen, man.
Show me your hands. Turn around. Walk to the sound of my voice. Stop. Patrol, I have one guy in custody. So when you're tracking, you always have to be tactically aware that, harm could happen to you and your dog. And how would you deal with that? So that's where it goes back. You always got to play in your mind the what if. Like, if the subject I'm tracking does this, this is what I would do. And you got to think of scenarios like that, so you're prepared if it does happen. Like, I think working with the dogs, we by far get the better end of the deal. Like, we get way more than what we give. Like, I get paid to work with dogs. It's an unbelievable career.
When the constables and their dogs graduate from the canine course, they're reassigned to an area of the country that needs a canine unit. That could be anywhere from the far north to the west coast.
I'm Constable Dion Sutton with the RCMP West Shore Police Dog Service, and this is my police service dog, Tito.
Dion and Tito now cover a large area of South Vancouver Island. But right after finishing training in explosive detection work, Dion and Tito worked at some major events.
Being in the explosive profile, it was a great experience. We've searched for the president, the premier, the prime minister, emperor of Japan. A lot of VIP visits, and it's good. You get to see how things work on the inside, and what the VIP section actually does. That alone is just an experience of a lifetime, to know that you're part of protecting, the people who are in power, and it's an important job, and you take pride in it. You'll never fully know what's at the end of a track, or what situation you're going into. We've seen people that have given no indication whatsoever that they're capable of doing anything, and all of a sudden it turns 180 just in a split second. And when you're in the middle of a field or in the middle of the bush and it's just you and your dog, sometimes it is an eerie feeling. I mean, there's always a weapon of opportunity around that the suspect could possibly use. The last successful track we had, there was actually 2 individuals on the same track, and basically it was one of those things where he kind of saved my back, because we located the first guy, and of course, being so concerned with the first guy, I didn't see the second one behind me, and only for him, who knows what could have happened, but just his body language and the way he turned, I knew that there was something not right, and sure enough, there was a second guy, so I owe him greatly for that, for sure.
It's simply being a realist that you're going to potentially have to confront that, and your dog's going to have to confront that, and you fall back on your training to be able to say, well, I'm prepared as I can be for what I'm going to face at the end of this track, and that's let the situation unfold as it may is about all you can do.
For 6 months straight, you've always had somebody on your shoulder saying, okay, try here, and you're in the real world, and a lot of times on a track it's just you and your dog, and you're learning all over again. And they always said it, trust your dog, and yeah, you understand it, but until you're in the field and you actually capture or you get your first success, it's because of him, and there's no words to describe it. Like, you have to trust him. You just have to trust your dog. You do.
Even though they're now working every day in the field, the training hasn't ended. The handlers build a regular session into their week to keep them and their dog sharp.
He's just smart. It's like he almost knows it's Tuesday, it's training day. He'll come out, he knows we're going to do a track in the beginning of the day. He won't even eat in the morning on a Tuesday. He'll wait, because he knows he's gonna, after he tracks, then I feed him and then he'll eat it. But if I put the food in before a training track, he won't, he's like, no, I know today is Tuesday. It's constant training and fine-tuning your skills, and just that alone gives you the confidence on how you would react in a real situation. You feel confident that you can handle a situation, and it comes back down to your training. And if you don't train, you're not going to be confident in going in.
Hey, bad guy, come on out.
And, it only comes with training and numbers. And the more you do that, the better you read your dog and the more confident you feel. We've more or less gelled as a team better. And I think it's just from in the field and experience that we can read each other better. He can tell when I'm in work mode. I can tell when he's on to something. And it just works. It's like we're on the same wavelength. Every day he sees me when I walk out to the back of the house in the uniform. He knows he's going to work, and he's just excited. He's to the point now where he senses things. When he hears the strobe lights of the truck, he knows we're going to something important. If the truck speeds up, he starts to circle in the back, but he knows that something exciting is going to happen. So he's well tuned to what's going on.
Hi, my name's Corporal Jesse Gaughan. I'm with the PDS section in Strathcona County. My partner is PSD Tyro.
At the end of the K-9 course, Jesse and Tyro were assigned to work in a large area around Edmonton, Alberta.
It was tough at the first little while, because especially as a new handler, you're trying to, I want to say, almost force the issue a little too hard. And it's only because Tyro is the dog that he is that he didn't take a track and lead me on a wild goose chase. Later you'd find out that this person was picked up by a vehicle, or they were incorrect, that bit of evidence wasn't actually there, and you had to go search another area and you found the evidence there. So that was a big part of learning to trust him, because you always wanted it to be a success. You never want to go home without whatever you're trying to accomplish. And for me, trying to force that onto Tyro at times, it's a credit to him that he never never led me astray. He always did what he was supposed to do and what he was taught and what he was imprinted from the start. So I don't understand it. You saw when we were going lights and sirens, and he's just laying in the back like it's not a big deal. He just, you know, he's happy to be around, and then when it's time to work, he puts his nose down and he goes to work. And we've been in some situations where we've been in stressful situations, but he hasn't acted like it's stressful to him. He's not worried. A lot of the tracks that we go into, you don't know whether they have weapons, the individuals that are running, or anything like that. So sometimes you're crashing through bush and all that. So it's pretty hard to be silent when you're tracking somebody. A lot of what I'm trying to think of when I'm going on a track is remembering the basics, remembering if I get track loss, where was my last known, and circling them into those areas to set them up for success on those tracks. So we were talking earlier, the suspect could be in a tree, he could be hidden in a swamp, he could be hidden in any number of different places to try and throw off the center, throw you off, and you need to expect that that's going to happen. There's a number of things at any given time that's running through your head. I guess the best way that I could describe it is I'm trying to always keep in my mind the fundamentals, as well as trying to bear in mind that somebody may want to hurt my dog or may want to hurt me, and trying to use whatever safety that I can to catch them before they can hurt me or my dog. We were called out to an individual that had health problems and some mental problems, and he'd wandered off from his home basically. And Tyro found this guy after a short track and all that sort of stuff. And for me, I was more proud of him finding that guy than any of the rest or anything else that we've done. It really summed up what I think he's about, and how genuine he is in his working and all that sort of stuff. He worked hard on all that sort of, and that meant a lot to me. He found somebody who was incapable of sort of getting help for themselves and all that, and you know what, he did it with a smile on his face, and he came out with a smile on his face, and he just, yeah, I was very proud of him at that point. So I see him as a big goofy dog that just, like I say, he enjoys. I don't know that there's ever been a day that he has not enjoyed whatever, you know, and he's gone through, we've had some horrible tracks where he's done, you know, just worked his butt off, and he always walks away smiling. You know, it's truly amazing that you see a dog like that and he has fun, you know, and that's how I see him. Just a good-natured, fun dog. It's funny, I guess it's almost like a relationship that matures after a little while too, you know. It's gotten to the point where I don't want to say Tyro knows what I'm thinking, but it almost seems like that. And I know in training when they were talking about moods and all that, how it goes down the line, and geez, if I'm not happy or if I'm whatever else, he reads into it. He's probably one of the, you know, when they say dog is man's best friend, he is my best friend. Like, he's, you know, there's just no way around it. You know, he knows me better than probably most people do, and it's just such a rich relationship. You know, it feels like a strong bond to me anyway. So,
like, it's the best job in the RCMP. There's no other job I think compares to it.
After 27 or 28 years, whatever it's been now that I've been in the dog world in the RCMP, it still amazes me to this day what the dog does on any given exercise for the simple pleasure and reassurance and praise from his handler. They do it over and over again. They never seem to quit.
High energy. He's motivated. He's thick-headed. Like me, he's stubborn,
loyal, reliable, you know, trustworthy. I know he's got my back. There isn't a situation that I go into where I'd ever second guess that my dog wouldn't be there for me.
There's a different bond there as well, and I believe with Tyro, I have a different bond than most people would with a house dog or a family pet of any kind.
It's impossible to understate the bond that exists between the handlers and their dogs, and that bond only gets stronger the more they work together. A canine dog will serve for between 7 and 9 years before they are retired. If the handler retires too, the dog will become a family pet. But if the handler stays in the canine unit, they'll sometimes place their dog with a loving family. The work the canine teams do is often dangerous, and all of the handlers know that their brave, loyal partners could lose their lives in the line of duty. For the handlers, it's like losing a family member. On April 16, 2008, veteran canine handler Sergeant Marcel Gibault lost his dog Fred in the line of duty.
I never had any children, and my dog is my son. Like, we're together 12 to 15 hours a day, every day. I spend more time with Fred than I do with my wife. It's just the nature of the work. Like it or not, you develop a mutual respect for each other. And he sees me getting out of my truck, and I'm walking up to him, and man, he could have shot me in the heart. I just knew there was something wrong. He looked at me so sad, and he says, "I hope you're not looking for your dog." I said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for my dog." He just grabbed my shoulder. He said, "I'm really sorry to tell you this." He said, "But I think your dog just got killed on the highway." So I got up there, and it's like, I look at the monument, and it just hit me, right? Like, oh, I know what I'm here now, right? So I said to myself, the whole time last night I was writing this, and I'd be crying a little bit, and I said, okay, I got to read this over and over and over and over and get through it, and never mind the tears now, right? Like, you know, grab a hold of yourself. It's tough, because it's almost saying like, okay, now your name is on there, now it's goodbye, Fred, right? And don't want to do that. Okay, still hard, but I'll get over it.
The memorial to the dogs who fell in the line of duty stands at the RCMP Canine Center at Innisfail. And so, the canine handlers constantly work on their training, never take anything for granted, and marvel in the gifts that their canine partners bring to every day.
Oh, it's a great comfort, especially when you're tracking and trying to apprehend someone. Sometimes you're not sure how many, if they're armed, what their intentions are when you find them. And knowing that it's always going to be you and your dog, you're not just, in it by yourself. It's a tremendous comfort.
Yeah, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not proud. I don't know. I love him with all my heart, and he cracks me up, and I'm sure he's probably sick and tired of hearing me talking in the truck and can hardly wait for retirement, but I have a good time with him, so.
He'll do the tasks that we want him to do, but then, let him be a dog. He's many's the time he'll chase his tail in the back of the truck or just be goofy, and that's one of the best characteristics that he's got that I like. So he kind of suits his handler.
Oh, I love my dog for sure. There's no better partner in the world. I never have to worry about if he's going to be there for me. Most reliable backup I could think anyone could have. Good boy.
You won't find the members of the canine team bragging about their accomplishments. For the members, the pride is in the work itself. The RCMP's canine unit is known and well respected around the world. Every year, law enforcement teams come to study the way the RCMP breeds and trains their dogs. For the members who work in the RCMP canine unit, it all comes down to a very simple thing: a profound relationship between an officer and their dog.